I don't say this lightly at all, but Friday, one of the craziest things in the NBA happened. One of the craziest things that I've ever seen in the NBA happen. This is a season where we don't know 30 minutes before tip if a game's actually going to even happen. This is a season where we don't know if players are going to have COVID at any given time. We got to witness in this season something that we've never seen before. And of all places, Marty,
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, we are a Brooklyn Nets pod, remember?
Exactly. It's perfect. So KD, poor KD, continuing to get snake bitten by COVID protocols. Adam Silver's insistence to continue to move the goalposts. And I think KD's had enough. So this is what happened. KD was one of the first people. I don't know if you remember this, Marty, but KD was one of the first people to get COVID in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
March of 2020, COVID. March 17th, he told Shams he tests positive. At that point, there were only 15 confirmed cases of COVID. So we know that there is in some universe that maybe KD's immune, maybe he's not immune to COVID, which makes this whole scenario a little more bizarre to me.
Mm-hmm.
So this season rolls around and boom, January 4th, he has a close contact with someone with COVID, and he's forced to miss a week. 7 days. Didn't have COVID, never tested positive for COVID, just out of an abundance of caution, he had to sit out 3 games. And all of that to me made sense at the time because the league was really making sure that they were cautious. They are trying to be careful in a pandemic after all. And then since then, the NBA has sort of made a decision that they don't really care as much. Clearly drawing lines in the sand that money, like Kawhi Leonard said, is much more important than safety. They're all over the place in terms of when games are going to get postponed, when players get held out, when they're allowed to suit up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a real mess as of late, how they've been handling things.
I mean, this is messy. This is the girl that gets drunk at the party, throws up all over the frat party messy. And then Friday night, it got a whole lot worse. In my opinion, that the NBA finally showed that they have zero idea what they're doing. No idea. Utterly, completely clueless. 25 minutes before game time, this is what happened. The news came down. KD is going to be a last-minute scratch due to COVID protocols. Again. Even though the man tested negative 3 times, out of an abundance of caution, he's not going to play. Then, 4 minutes before game time, KD was sitting on the Nets bench, and you're like, what's going on? Then he enters the game as a reserve for the first time in his 867-game career. Doesn't start. Insane. Then midway through the third quarter, he gets a foul, and they're disputing whether he has a foul or not. And then all of a sudden, the Sandman comes and drags KD off the floor. Like, okay, because that inconclusive test from another close contact came back positive midway through the game. So let's recap. Durant has already had COVID and recovered from COVID. Has antibodies. Has returned 2 negative PCR tests, which are the accurate ones. Mm-hmm. But someone the Nets star had interacted with had COVID, and so even though he's been with his teammates all game, he has to leave. And of course, obviously in that chaos, they lost. So I think right now KD's had enough. And when he got taken out, he decided to come at the NBA on Twitter in perfect KD fashion. And I'm not even talking about using his burner. I had to look at dates. I had to look multiple times to see if it was correct. I think I came up to you and I was like, this is from right now, right?
Right, yeah.
This is him live tweeting the game?
Yeah, at Rough and Rowdy, yeah.
He's literally live tweeting the Nets game, free me.
Yeah, and then he tweeted, yo, NBA, your fans aren't dumb, with a bunch of exclamation points. You can't fool them with your whack-ass PR tactics. Hashtag free7.
Free7. I love that. So what does that mean? it means that Kevin Durant is smart enough to know that the NBA does not give a fuck about COVID. He's like, yo, you're pulling me after sitting with my teammates all night just for the look? You do not know what you're doing. All you care about is the perception. That's what he's saying. All you care about is your whack-ass PR tactics. You just want the perception that you care about player safety when you do not. And then, shockingly, KD was mad. His teammates were mad. And James Harden said this post-game. They said it was just contact tracing. I'm thinking to myself, if it's contact tracing, then we were all in the locker room together. That means that there's no game if he's not going to be able to play. That was my thought process. Marty, that's an L that just plainly should not have happened.
Yeah.
And there are lots of reasons that you can blame the Nets for taking L's to inferior teams, like Steve Nash and his trash-ass rotations that he makes. But like this night, this is not on the Nets. This is on Adam Silver in the league, 100%. Once the ball tips, you can't pull your marquee player in the middle of the game. Like, he's already out there.
Yeah.
He's already been sweating and sitting with his teammates. He was never removed from his team to begin with. He's been side by side with them for hours now. What do you think this other 15 minutes is going to do? Like, it's just dumbfounding. Tyler Hero had the exact same thing happen to him a couple of weeks ago. His roommate tested positive. Nothing happened. He got to play. No games postponed. This is insane. Fucked. So now the Nets are going to have to miss the centerpiece of their offense for multiple games because he's got a quarantine for 7 days. He misses the Pistons game and the Pacers game, so they'll probably lose. They'll probably lose both of those, the way the Pistons are playing. So here's the bottom line. This is not good. This is not, I don't consider this a part of this is a dysfunctional organization thing. This is a dysfunctional, We've got a dysfunctional league on our hands. The Nets have already been in chaos. Their big three is not meshing in the best of circumstances. The Nets have only had 5 games with Harden, Kyrie, and KD together out of a total of 12. With Durant gone this week, they're going to have 14 games without one of their big three. Sometimes they miss 2 out of those 3.
Yeah, over a quarter of a 72-game season without one of their stars on the floor. Like, it's crazy.
I would say that's meaningful.
Yeah.
I would say that's a meaningful stat. So, yeah, I would say that the league pulling this fuckery on the Nets is definitely not the same as shutting down a team like the Washington Wizards for a month. You've got a team that's a contender. This is a top 4 team in the league. KD is the league's most marketable player, top 2 player in the league, and he is just getting completely fucked by Adam Silver in the league. This is just not what you hope for if you were the Nets who mortgaged your future for James Harden. Just not. Like, despite what Stephen A. Smith says, this team is not a lock to go to the finals. This team is not a lock to do anything besides just make the playoffs. I'm sorry, Nets fans. That's the truth. So let's just recap. KD sits for 7 days now due to a close contact, but every maskless player that shared the court with him in warm-ups and on the bench and on the court is good to go? Fine. Nothing happens. No Raptors games postponed. No Nets games postponed. But KD can't play for a week? Like, aren't they the close contact to the close contact? Those teammates? Like, if he potentially has COVID, don't they potentially have COVID?
Yeah, makes sense.
I wonder to myself what the league is going to do when a close contact of an all-star tests positive the week of February 14th. I wonder. I hope it happens. Let's stay tuned. This league, still mad about KD. How bad do you have to fuck up for the entire internet to take the side of Kyrie Irving? Think about that. The entire internet hates Kyrie Irving, and yet they all defended him. That's crazy. For a variety of reasons, too. You've got Boston Celtics fans that hate him. You've got LeBron stans that hate him. Blue Lives / All Lives Matter certainly hate him. Steve Nash fans like you, Marty, hate him.
Facts.
You hate him.
Yep.
Geographers hate him. People who know in their heart of hearts that the earth is round hate him. Just like people who care about the truth hate him. All of them came to Kyrie's defense. All of them. Because why? Because a basketball comedian on the internet named Max is Nice decided he was about to get mean. So Max is Nice made a spoof video making fun of Kyrie Irving burning sage. Did you see this?
Yeah, no, I saw it.
And I thought it was funny at the time. I did. It was like KD and Kyrie be like, and then he's got sage
and
burning.
He's burning sage in the background.
Burning sage in the background. To be fair, it did seem harmless at the time, given that Kyrie did burn sage in TD Garden. And at the time that he burned the sage in TD Garden, I was like, wow, Kyrie Irving is really trying to like clear the negativity of his time in Boston. That was where my drama-filled head went.
Yeah.
That was obviously not the case. I just thought it was like a new age hippie thing. I hadn't done nearly the amount of research clearly that I needed to do, and it turns out neither did Max is Nice, and Kyrie Irving took big offense. So Kyrie commented on the video. What did it say?
Yeah, it was an Instagram comment, and it said, I respect the comedy, but tell your ignorant counterpart, Max is Nice, do not disrespect my ancestors or indigenous culture with his gestures.
Oh, my God.
It's sacred to us natives to burn sage, and it's a remembrance of the people who died to preserve our customs.
I mean, okay. That's not good. That is a bad look for Max is Nice.
Yeah.
It's a bad look because Kyrie came at him in a very respectful way. In case you didn't know, and I think a lot of people miss this, Kyrie's mom is Elizabeth Ann Larson, who passed away when he was 4.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a member of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Adopted when she was a baby, but her native name is Elizabeth Ann White Mountain. Kyrie is a 7th generation Native American. He is active in the Sioux community. His Native American name is Little Mountain. And you know that it's serious because that's the first thing that's on his Instagram profile is his Native American name. And IG, obviously, Marty, is a huge thing in the Kyrie Irving universe. I mean, yeah, that I would say is quite disrespectful given that this is a custom in Native American culture. And instead of apologizing, your boy Max is Nice decided, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fan the flames and say, you know what, Kyrie? You can catch these hands. He said, do you want a box? And put boxing gloves on the comment to Kyrie. That is a bad, bad, bad look. And then the internet goes crazy, as it does, and not in the normal, like, fuck you, Kyrie kind of way. Not in the, oh, Kyrie's the worst kind of way. I mean, this is the craziest ratio. It was 100% against Max is Nice. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
That is how egregious everything that Max is Nice did. I don't know if he recovers. He's tried to recover. He's apologized since, but it's like a little too late now. The spoof, ignorant but forgivable. The reaction was just toxic. It was like, I know I'm ignorant, but I'm going to double down on my ignorance. I can't believe you sunned me on Instagram, so I'm just going to be mad at you and tell you you're wrong. And we can just fight. We can just scrap instead of me being like, yeah, that was pretty ignorant. He just didn't have any idea that this could be offensive. And it was. So I know I have some bad takes. I made some bad takes I don't even want anyone to remember. But if someone called me out on them, I would certainly say, you know what, that's on me. Sometimes you just have to own up or you're going to be lifelong burned by NBA Twitter. Find someone who loves you and wants you as much as Tom Thibodeau wants Derrick Rose. This is the best romance on this side of the notebook. Just adorable. I mean, especially given the fact that Derrick Rose is a broken man. He has been discarded by multiple teams after he was an MVP. How many teams has he been on? 5? I think 5 teams. For someone who was an MVP to be discarded, you are fragile. And you know what? Tom Thibodeau is going to lift Derrick Rose up. He is now rejoined with Tom Thibodeau on the New York Knicks. This is the 3rd time he's been on a Tom Thibodeau team. That is wild. That is insane. That is something that everyone can be inspired by. I love that. I love that. How can you love Tibbs being out of the league? And then he gets his job in New York, and he's like, Derrick, don't worry, buddy. You're one of my first priorities to bring back. Like, you're coming home.
I'll get you out of Detroit.
I'll get you out of there, buddy. Like, don't worry. I'm going to make sure that James Dolan is not in love with Emmanuel quickly. I'll barely play him any minutes. He won't even know what he has. You're going to be starting in no time. It's okay. Dennis Smith Jr., he wants to be on the G League. We'll send him to Detroit. That's the next best thing.
Right.
It's all good. It's all good. He made sure to go get Derrick Rose. It's not even halfway through the season yet. It's not even to the trade deadline, and he goes and gets his guy. Detroit was just not using him, and Tibbs was like, you know what, I'll take him. Let us have it. This is just crazy. As a human being, as my therapist would say, as human beings, we want to be deeply seen and known. Tibbs sees Derrick Rose. He sees how special he is, how special he can be again, and God bless Tom Thibodeau. He knows how he can use him and how it can work. And Lord knows for some reason Tom Thibodeau isn't going to use Emmanuel quickly until he's 30. Tom Thibodeau will be gone by then. He's holding that other 20 minutes for Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose has never averaged less than 27 minutes a game playing with Tom Thibodeau. This boy's about to start. This boy is about to start as soon as he passes COVID protocols. That's crazy. What a love story in the middle of a cold, cold February. This league. All right, let's get into some DMs. I had over 400 DMs for basketball-related questions.
That's quite a lot.
Let's get into it.
Okay. First off, we have, why is Anthony Davis playing so soft this year?
I mean, the thing about these questions that I loved is that they all are the things that are in my head that I can't say out loud. And now big underscore Bob could say them for me. Yeah, Anthony Davis is soft, period. We talk about like resting bitch face. Anthony Davis and his resting state is soft. Do you agree with that, Marty?
I may not go that far, but I could see how a lot of people think that and arrive there, yes.
Explain.
I mean, it just seems a little weird to call someone who can go out and play the way I have seen him play at times soft.
At times.
Yeah, at times.
So what I said is resting state is soft.
Sure.
Of course. Can he, if someone puts a shot collar on him, turn into a dog in the playoffs? Yes. We saw Anthony Davis turn into a dog. Mm-hmm. But we know that LeBron James had the remote in his hand and the shot collar around Anthony Davis to turn him into a junkyard dog. That is what we see. All last season and during part of the playoffs, I said, wow, this Anthony Davis kid can disappear. He can disappear for stretches. He can be a marshmallow. I'm not saying he always is a marshmallow. I'm not saying that he always is soft. But he can be that way for long periods of time, games at a time. And I know people are going to get very mad about this on social, and I don't care. This is just the way it is. Here's a little stat for you, Marty. AD may be shooting better this year, percentage-wise and points-wise. Mm-hmm. But he's averaging the fewest rebounds and blocks in his entire career since his rookie season. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, that makes sense. I've seen him play this year. That that makes sense that that's where he's at statistically this year.
He's getting fouled less this year, which means this boy doesn't want to go anywhere near the rim. This boy is... I get it. Like, you won your ring. You want to stick around the perimeter for a while. I mean, it's tough. It's tough down there on the block. I don't care that he grew up in Chicago. He was crowned king very young. AAU, entitled, soft-spoken, like soft. And I like the guy. I really do. And as a human being, I can see why LeBron James also loves Anthony Davis. He is an unselfish player. But with that comes someone who is very, very clearly not a pit bull. Just not. That is just not. Fortunately for Anthony Davis and his legacy, and LeBron James and his legacy, and the Lakers and their legacy, Anthony Davis has clearly shown when the lights are bright, that boy goes ham. But he is no Jimmy Butler. He is no, like, hard rock that just will give it to people on a night-to-night basis. So, Laker fans, yes, you're going to have to suffer with Anthony Davis being quite soft-looking throughout the regular season and probably through stretches of the playoffs. But don't worry. You've got the ultimate dog in LeBron James and the Caesar Milan. This is a fucked up analogy. But the Caesar Milan in LeBron James turning Anthony Davis into I just can't. Just, you know what I'm saying. He's turning him into a junkyard dog in the playoffs, but not on a night-to-night basis. Could get me ratioed, but that's the truth.
Gotcha. Okay, so the next one is who should the Celtics use the traded player exception on?
So they have $28.5 million in the traded player exception. Ainge has said he wants shooters with size. So who are those people? Do you have any names in mind?
Oh, Kelly Oubre.
Kelly Oubre. Shooters with size. That boy Kelly Oubre, he will shoot. We know that Kelly Oubre will shoot. Harrison Barnes I like. He's averaging 17, 50% from the field, 41% from three. He could be an addition. He can also defend, I would say.
Yeah.
I love the idea of PJ Tucker. Because, I think that the Celtics need to get Marcus Smart out of there. Out. I love Marcus Smart. I love his toughness. I love what he can do. But, boy, does he make some bad, bad decisions on the offensive side. He thinks he's a he does some Kelly Oubre shit.
I love it.
He does. He does. Where you're like, whoa. He does shit that Draymond Green does. Where it's like, yo, why are you shooting from the logo right now? Did anyone tell you to do that? Did anyone say, Marcus Smart, this is your game to go out and shoot 30 times tonight? No. So I want Marcus Smart out. PJ Tucker doesn't do that shit. He does not. He's just as tough as Marcus Smart. He's bigger. He can hit threes, and he makes so much better decisions. So I like that. Who else? I really like Julius Randle, but I don't think the Knicks are. I think the Knicks are playing way too good, and I do not. I think they love themselves some Julius Randle.
Oh, yeah. They're going to see what they have in him right now.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, before Tibbs runs the tread off of Julius Randle and then they have to trade him for nothing, I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I've also heard that the Bulls are shopping Markkanen, but I don't think Markkanen plays good enough D for them. Also, I just don't think that moves the needle in any exciting way.
Yeah. They had Enes Kanter for a while, though.
Here's the thing about the Enes Kanter thing. They don't know how to use, they obviously don't know. This is a Brad Stevens segment in the future, but Brad Stevens clearly misused Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter for the Blazers now is one of the best free agent signings in the entire offseason.
He can get a bucket.
He can get a bucket. He can rebound. And boy, he is an underrated defender for how much people drag him. 3 blocks in a game. The Celtics didn't use Enes Kanter whatsoever, but he's not a 3-point shooter.
Right.
I really, really like Vucevic as a possible candidate for them. He can shoot the 3. He's 7 feet tall. He can defend. He can pull guys out. He can actually defend someone like Embiid. This is the problem. The Celtics have no answer for Joel Embiid. And when it comes time for the playoffs, that's going to be a huge, huge problem. Let's go next question.
Okay. Next up, we've got who's the worst player you would trade Ben Simmons for?
Who asked that question?
This is from user Johnny_cocaine.
Wow. Johnny Cocaine. What a great question. That's like, I love these random hypotheticals that my mind never thinks of. Who's the worst player that you would trade Ben Simmons for? I mean, there's plenty of bad players that you could legitimately swap him for. I think the worst player being floated around is Zach LaVine. I don't think Zach LaVine's having like we'll call it an all year for him. I wouldn't call it like an all pro year, but he's playing.
He's like, if a lot of people got hurt, he could maybe be an all-star.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's at the all-star game for one reason and one reason only. The dunk contest. I guess the three-point shooting contest sometimes, too, he's been in. But he's not an all-star. All of that to say he's not an all-star. I have read a lot of articles saying that that's a possibility. But the only reason you do that is to get out of Ben Simmons' bad contract. So I don't think that's going to happen. But the trade, this isn't really a bad trade. So this isn't the worst player. I'm kind of like skating out of this question as much as I can. But the trade that I love in my mind is Anthony Simons and CJ McCollum for Ben Simmons and maybe Dwight Howard. So you couldn't trade CJ for Ben straight up. I just wouldn't. Maybe you could. So let's just say you do that. See, you get rid of CJ, which is right around 25 points of offense. We don't have him right now anyway.
Right.
Bum ankle. But the Blazers already have plenty of offense. So we've got Gary Trent Jr., you've got Rodney Hood, you've obviously got Dame. Robert Covington can get a bucket. So you got plenty of that. Gary Trent Jr. immediately steps into C.J. McCollum's role. And now with Covington, Jones, and Ben Simmons, you could possibly maybe defend some people. Maybe. Like we are, at this point, Blazers being my team, we are the second worst defensive team in the entire National Basketball Association. So, God damn it, we need some defense. Terry Stotts, I think, could actually unlock Ben Simmons in a way using Damian Lillard and Ben Simmons pick and roll. Like, could you imagine using Ben Simmons like the Blazers used Nurkic?
Yeah.
Like, put him on the free throw line, come up, pop. Dame can, like, you can run a two-man action with those dudes all day.
Dame would get a fuck ton of hockey assists.
Oh, my God. And Ben Simmons, he can pass.
Oh, yeah.
He can pass that. I mean, you can get some backdoor cutters. I really like that. I don't think it would ever happen, but I think it's a possibility. With the West being filled with gunslingers, we need to defend someone. I mean, just De'Aaron Fox is going to cook us. You know, Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, going to cook us. Just all day. We cannot hang with elite teams. We've got to figure something out. I love CJ, but, like, goddamn, something's got to change.
All right. Speaking of the Kings, we've got, besides Fox and Halliburton, please try and find something positive about the Kings. This is from user Kangs all day.
Was that your twang, or is it actually Kangs?
He spells it Kangs.
Like kangaroo.
Yeah. Or like the villain from The Simpsons, yeah.
Okay. This person, Kangs all day, is disgruntled, obviously. What a scarred fan. Okay, that's like being like, yo, outside of me being like good looking and fit, please tell me why I am like a desirable human being. Like, you've got two players in De'Aaron Fox and Halliburton that are very exciting, very good, very skilled players that you have to build on for the future. So, like, besides them, what is there to be excited about? There's actually a lot of things. You've got Buddy Hield. He is killing. You've got Harrison Barnes. He's killing. They've won 8 of 10 games. That's exciting. They're one of the best teams to bet against the spread. They've just consistently outperformed. They just beat the Clippers. They just beat the Celtics. I mean, this is an exciting-ass team. This is just an unreal question because, like, you lucked out on Halliburton. You didn't deserve him. The Kings never draft well. Like, what are you mad about? You're mad because Marvin Bagley didn't work out? Like, you're mad because Willie Cauley-Stein is gone or DeMarcus Cousins is no longer there? What are you mad about? What are you so sad for? Like, this team is exciting.
As one of the teams that passed on Luka, I could say that probably has a little something to do with it.
I'm going to say things about Luka at some point. I don't see it.
I'm just saying, I think that's probably where a little bit of the depression comes from. But another thing I will add, whenever you win, Richaun Holmes' mother posts Instagram videos that are very heartwarming about your victory.
So, that is a nice thing to go and check that out on IG. Kangs, what is it, Kangs all day?
Kangs all day.
I would die to have De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton on my team. So, if you're a Kings fan, just enjoy the ride. There's a lot to be encouraged about. Especially those IG posts.
Okay. Does Kelly Oubre look better with or without his headband?
Who's that from?
Just Wallen 530.
Wallen 530.
Yeah.
What a question. What an unreal question. Do you know that Kelly Oubre has become a universal sex symbol for men?
Quite aware.
And you were you are a Suns fan and he was a Sun. Tell me about what you know about this.
I mean, he's handsome. He used to hook up with Kendall Jenner for a little while before she and Book started dating.
She's been passed around the NBA, hasn't she?
A little bit, yeah. He's from Louisiana. He got displaced by Hurricane Katrina. I'm a fan. I'm a big Kelly Oubre fan, even though he's no longer a Sun.
There are straight men who say some wild things in Kelly Oubre's Instagram, like have my babies. It has become a trend for straight men to sexually harass Kelly Oubre online. That's just what it has been. The only thing that is not sexy about Kelly Oubre is him shooting 3 for 40.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Or him telling the world that he thinks that he's going to replace Kevin Durant when he came in for the Warriors. Like, that was also not exactly sexy. False bravado is not sexy, and that was that. That was false bravado. I love the quote confidence, but in terms of his looks, I looked at some photos of Kelly Oubre just this morning, and I think he's sexier naked, so no headband. Sexier with the no headband, sexier just plain naked. Lots of tattoos. Love myself some Kelly Oubre.
Gotcha. Okay. Next up, we have how would you cope if you were a Magic fan?
God, it's rough. It's rough being a Magic fan.
Yeah.
You had so much to be excited about. The Magic, the first episode of this podcast, were one of the most exciting teams in the NBA. They were like second in the East. Markelle Fultz was balling. And then as soon as he tore his knee up, now the Magic are 9 and 15. They've lost 7 of 10. It's just a depressing situation. You've got really nothing to look forward to if you're an Orlando Magic fan. So here's what I would do. Oh yes, this stat I forgot to say. Their last game they lost to the Bulls at home by 28. They scored a minuscule 12 points in a quarter. Let me just say this. My high school girls basketball team regularly scored more than 12 in a quarter. Like, we put up at least 15, 17 points in a quarter. I mean, it wasn't much better, but that's better than an NBA player. So how would I cope? I guess I would look at the draft board a lot. I mean, you could get Cade Cunningham maybe. Like, keep sliding more. You could get maybe Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga. Just keep sliding. Get deep into the weeds in the NBA draft Reddit. Tankathon, yeah. Just like look at old Penny Hardaway highlights. Look at old Shaq highlights. Those two together were the last time this Orlando Magic team was really exciting. They went to the finals with Dwight Howard,
yeah.
But that doesn't count to me. I just don't think that was a good team at all. I would say also maybe enjoy some time away from basketball. Put on your favorite Tracy McGrady jersey and like enjoy the Florida sun. Just maybe go to the bayou and like look at some crocodiles, or maybe take a trip to Walt Disney World, Splash Mountain. That's the only splashing that's going on in Orlando is Splash Mountain.
And they're changing the name.
They're changing the name to what? What are they changing the name to?
The Princess and the Frog ride. I don't know exactly what the name is, but I think they are changing the name.
That's dumb.
A little bit.
I feel that is a change in history. I don't like that. Anyway, fuck it. Maybe become a fan of a team. If you don't live in Orlando, become a fan of a team near your city that you live in. Just start wearing their colors. Jump on the bandwagon. I don't know. Become a Kings fan. Kings are very exciting. Just ask Kangs. Was it Kangs Ride or Die? What was his name? Kangs. Kangs all day. Yeah. I mean, this guy is John Whitney. Maybe your name should be Magic Fan for Life. Maybe I would think you were more ride or die than you are. Next question.
Okay. This should be fun.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Here we go.
Where do you rank Devin Booker in the league?
Oh, Marty. I vacillated back and forth on this for a long-ass time because you say the name Devin Booker and you think, man, this dude is good. Man, is he a walking bucket. Man, does he do exciting things. Is he a leader? Is he pretty out there? Smooth. Just able, like that chase down block. You think about that chase down block, comes back, has the assist. God, I love some Devin Booker.
Yeah. You think about a lot of things.
You're like, oh, man, he's underrated. He can be clutch. And then you look at basketballreference.com, the dream killer of all dream killers, and you see his stats and you say, wow, are my eyes deceiving me? Is Devin Booker that good? Is he as good as I think he is? Statistically, Devin Booker is 34% from three for his career. That is concerning. That's so concerning. This year, and you think to yourself, maybe last year, it was just because people were draped all over him. He was the only option at the wing. Mikal Bridges hadn't come into his own yet. He had Kelly Oubre with him, chucking. No need to defend Kelly Oubre. Ricky Rubio, chucking. Okay, so he's draped. And now he's unlocked, right? And shit, what is he shooting from three now? 35%. That's not good. That is not good. And then you think to yourself, okay, is he better than CJ McCollum, who I'm advocating we should trade? Yeah, I think he's better. I think to myself, yeah, he's better than CJ, right? He's better than CJ. And then I go on Basketball Reference again. And CJ McCollum is shooting a whopping 44% from three. And you're like, damn, that's a full 10% better. Holy shit. And let's be serious. CJ's threes are also contested. He's not a man in the corner just waiting to get shots. Free passes from Dame on the kick out. That would be disrespectful if you said that. I love Devin Booker, but where does he rank? I just don't know. I think if I had to say and go down the list, I'd say like the fifth best shooting guard in the league.
Fifth?
I have to put it at like 5. I don't know. Like
I can't. No. Fifth.
Let me like just look. Like
I mean, I don't do lists, so like I'm not gonna like come out and say 100% you're wrong. I don't think I would have him fifth by any stretch.
So we're talking about like right now, or are we talking about including Klay Thompson?
We'll include him. Okay.
So you got James Harden.
Klay.
He's a 2. You've got Klay. You've got Paul George.
Paul George.
You don't put Paul George there? You've got Drew Holiday.
I mean, I think of Paul George more as a wing than a shooting guard.
But that's what he's considered as a shooting guard. That's what they call him. He's not a small forward. He's a shooting guard. Okay, so we'll take out Paul George.
Okay.
I put CJ McCollum right in front.
Okay, I don't.
I just do. He's That's an fine. Iron Man. Devin Booker has been really a lot more hurt. I think he's 5. He's like 4 or 5. Give me your best. I know you're salty about this. Give me your best Devin Booker. Like, how do you respond to 34% from three?
I mean, you kind of did it. You kind of did it for me. He's always had shit teammates his entire career. He's had to shoot out of triple teams constantly. That's why.
Like Damian Lillard shoots out of triple teams. That boy is cold.
Yeah. Not everyone is Damian Lillard's level of sharpshooter. I'm not saying Devin Booker really is. I think him winning the 3-point contest at a young age made people think of him only as a sharpshooter, and like that's his game. But dude gets inside, he facilitates, he gets people involved. He does way more than shoot threes, and I do expect that number to go up.
I hope it goes up. It's got to go up.
That's true. Yeah. It has to go up.
It's got to go up.
Yeah. If it goes down, then I'll be here agreeing with you. Yep.
I mean, that's all the time. I think we used up all the time that we have on that. Shoot. This was a fun episode. Please rate. Rate, review, subscribe, all those things. Also, the analytics people tell me that if you unsubscribe and resubscribe, that's better. So please do that. Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. I think Apple Podcasts are weighed heavier. You don't care. Just listen, please. Just listen. It makes a huge difference. We also have This League hoodies on sale in the Barstool store. Please help us out. Thank you so much for listening. We have a packed Friday morning show. We will be back right then. That's all the time that we have.